Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zero to Android show, the show where I go from absolutely zero experience with Java and Android development to hopefully being pretty good at it. This is episode 39 of the show, which means we've spent 38 hours battling against insurmountable odds in pursuit of excellence. Now, for those of you who have not caught the stream before and think it sounds interesting, if you head over to my YouTube channel, you'll see that I have a playlist here, Zero to Android, and that's where I upload all these videos once I've finished on Twitch. You can check out everything there. It's YouTube Coding with Carl, and that's coding with a K and Carl with a K. See what I did there? Okay, right, so where we left off, we are working on scheduled tasks. We're working on being able to give a certain rule. It might be day of week, day of month, or every day, and then being able to generate, if you like, tasks that will pre-populate this list. And we've got to the point where we need to do some pretty tricky stuff because we have a Unix timestamp. And for those of you that don't know what a Unix timestamp is, it is the number of seconds since the epoch. And the epoch is January 1st, 1970. So when computers were in their infancy, someone decided that a good way to measure time is in seconds, which I agree with. And they also thought, well, there's no point in doing it based off the start of the Christian calendar or anything like that. We'll do it from close to now, and that was January 1st, 1970. So it's a really good way for us to, because the epoch is king, it's a really good way for us to handle dates and times because all the things we need to do with time zone offsets and stuff can be offset from the Unix timestamp because it's in UTC, and that is a universal time zone, if you like, that never changes for daylight savings time or anything of the like. Now, what we need to do to make this happen is we need to write a couple of functions. One of them will take a day between 1 and 31. Yep. And then translate that into... Actually, that one's pretty simple because all we need to do is... Where are we? In Focus Lib right now? Yeah. So that actually, I don't think we need to bother with that one because it's just 60 seconds times 60 minutes times 24 times a number will give us the right thing there. The tricky one, and the one I've been scratching my head over for a couple of days, is being able to take a date such as 2018, and let's do it in... So let's do year, month, day. So it says 2018, 05, 13, right? And turn that into a Unix timestamp. Or if the real kicker is omitting the year because we're doing day of year, essentially. Omitting the year from that. So it's just, here's a month, here's a day, give me a timestamp. And that one's going to be tricky as hell because we have leap years to contend with. So I've been thinking about how we would do this. And I didn't want to think too much about it because I wanted to do it on stream because I like to show on this stream that you can do this stuff if you're an idiot. And I am an idiot, especially when it comes to math. Luckily, we have John on the show today, and John is pretty good at math, or at least better than I am. And hopefully if I get too stuck, he will be able to help. So I'm going to create a function. It's going to be a public static function. And once again, Android Studio is horrifically dog slow today. So I might even do this in JavaScript for now. Shall I? I don't know. We don't put function in Java. Public static. Month, day, no, yeah, month and day to timestamp. Is that right? Let's have a think about what we're actually going to do. And we'll use NeoVim to write this out because NeoVim is nice and fast. Yeah, look at that. Oh, so much better than crappy Android Studio and its memory hog ways. Okay, here we go. We will, on the front end, we will be handling day of year. Okay, and to do that, we will need to take a month, and that's from 1 to 12. And we will take a day, and that will be from, is that right? Let's have a look. I've not even written it yet, have I? Day of year. Yeah, so the day will be from 1 to 31, and that will be depending on the month, and we'll handle that in the UI code, so we don't have to worry too much about February and the dates, the months that have 30 days in them. So how do we convert that into a usable timestamp? Well, when we're populating slots, we'll be thinking to ourselves, how can I tell if this rule, and the rule looks something like day of month, and then 05 will be the month, and let's have a look at our format over here. Got day of year, haven't we? Yeah, and we haven't put anything in for that yet. And that is idiotic because there are 2 inputs for this. Idiots. 2 inputs required. I think it's better to do it with 2 inputs. Let me explain what's going on here. Every single one of these things in our format has an operator, such as day of week, day of month, day of year, and inputs, which would be the specific, in day of week it would be 1 to 7, and in day of month it would be like between 1 and 31 depending on the month. But for day of year, the way I'd envisioned it would be something like 152. The problem with that is you've got leap years, so that wouldn't be consistent. A more consistent way to do it would be to have 2 inputs. So I'm wondering if down here on the prototype table we need to have input 2. Maybe, because that would make it more consistent and it would make our logic a lot simpler because we wouldn't have to account for February 29th. Okay, so say we did do that. Say we did have 2 inputs for day, D-O-Y, doik. How can I tell if this rule, and that will be Y, 05, say 20, falls on the date I am looking at? Well, we need to match it to a timestamp. And to do that, we need to say, well, we know that there are 365 days in a year. 3 years out of 4, right? So 365 days in a year. And we know that there are, so if that's right, then there are 365 times 4. Which is 1,460. 1,460 plus 1 days in a 4-year period. Now I know that 1972 was a leap year, so we should be able to get away with doing something like taking a Unix timestamp. Oh, but that's one way. We want to do it the other way, don't we? So what we need to do, I think, is we need to get the year of the date that we're looking at. Get the year of the date we're looking at, and then we need to minus 1970 from it. So say it was 2018, 2, subtract 1970 to get the years passed since the epoch. 3, we need to then, we have the, we need to modulo it. So if we do years since epoch, YSE, or do we? Yes, we do, because we need to find out. Well, if we modulo that by 4, will that tell us the number of leap days that we need to add? And then we do like years. So timestamp would be years since epoch plus leap days. Would that be right? And then plus whatever's left over from, wow, this is getting complex. I think the best thing to do is, let's use this window over here. We will create, so we'll do some JavaScript. We'll do epoch test.js. Where are we? Okay, and we will do something like there. Input ts equals, and let's get today. No, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it the other way around. So year equals 2018. There month equals, is it 5? Are we on 5? We're on May? Yes, we are. 5. We don't need the 0, do we? There day equals, what's the date today? 13th? 14th. Right, and then let's start kicking this thing in. Let's do so there, years since epoch YSE equals year minus 1970, and then there leap days LD equals YSE modulo 4. Is that right? No, it's divided by 4, isn't it? That would make sense, I think. And then to get the timestamp of the current year from that, we would do ts current year equals, what did we say? So it'd be we would do year since epoch plus leap days No, that's not right, because one is years and one is days. So that would mean to be divided by 365 plus LD. And we don't need that there because the division will be done first. And then times That's in days, isn't it? So that will give me... Should that be times 365? You see now how terrible my maths is. That's years. Years times 365, that will give us days, plus those days, right? And then we need it in seconds. So we need to divide that by... Is it times by again? 24 times 60 times 60. Let's do it really slowly because I am an absolute moron when it comes to this sort of stuff. So that will be total days in year, and then we'll do console.log log total days in year. Can we run this? Let's split this. Down here I will open a terminal and I will do node, what did I call it? Epoch Test.js. It's right there. Okay, so that doesn't look right to me. Does it look right to anybody else? Because it doesn't look right to me. Total days in year. So that means there have been 17,532 days passed since the epoch. Node, let's have a look. 17,532 divided by 48 years. So then if I did so what do I want from this? I want timestamp, well, let's say top of year, TS equals what would say total days in year times 24 times 60 times 60, which is 86,400. Right, so let's output that instead. That gives us a timestamp, and with that timestamp, can I copy it? Please God, let me copy it. We go over to our epoch converter, put that in. Look at that, Monday, January 1st, 2018. So that's a good start. So if we pass in then, so what do we have right now? We have the timestamp of the current year. And what we need to get is the timestamp that represents the current year plus 5 months and 14 days, but months is variable. So I guess what we need to do is, I don't think there's any kind of sense, or maybe there is. Who decided the number of days in each month? So months were constructed to be either hollow or full. Original Roman calendar was blah 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 blah. Gregorian calendar, let's have a look. It was refinement of the Julian calendar. I think what we need to do is have this table in there because I'm crap at math and this would be the easiest way to do it, I think. So we would need to do something like get the number of months, which we have because we have month number, and then loop through. Let's say we had an array that was say var month no of days, right? And then we populate that with 31, 28, 31, 30. (31, 30, 31, 31). (30, 31, 30, 31). Now, things get tricky because that 28 is variable. That sucker right there. How do we figure out whether we're on a leap year or not? To do, how do we? Is the current year a leap year? Okay, so if we did something like for I equals 0, and while I is less than month, I plus plus, then the number of seconds that we would add, and let's do like var seconds to add equals 0, and then we would do something like seconds to add plus equals month number of days I, then it would loop through to it would loop through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and add all of those days up. Now it needs to be -1, doesn't it? Because we don't want to add the full amount of the current month. So let's do it's less than month -1. So that would add 4 then. It would add January, February, March, April, and then we would manually add afterwards the day. So it would be seconds to add plus equals day. And of course these are in days and we want seconds, so we would times that by 86,400 times 86,400, and then we would get the timestamp Ooh, thank you GPOR. We have a star of the stream for today. GPOR, a year will be a leap year if it is divisible by 4 but not by 100. If a year is divisible by 4 and 100, it is not a leap year unless it's also divisible by 400. Nice. Nice. Thank you for answering that question for me. Very good of you. Did I start recording the stream? I did. Thank God for that. Okay. So, where were we? We'll add a day if there's a leap year. We'll put that there, right? Let's just write out, where's my console.log? On line 12. And I guess we could now do top of year TS plus seconds to add, and that'll get us somewhere close. All right. So we need to put this leap year stuff in, right? Leap day equals 0. Did we get the current year? We did. So we can do then, a year will be a leap year if it's divisible by 4, but not by 100. Okay, so if year modulo 4 equals 0, and year modulo 100 does not equal 0, and of course the modulo operator gives us the remainder of a division, so we can use it to find out whether something is divisible or not. If it's divisible by 4 but not by 100. If a year is divisible by 4 and by 100, it is not a leap year unless it's also divisible by 400. Wow, okay, so that's definitely a leap year, yeah? So we can add leap day equals, and GPAW, please check me if I am I'm right here. Leap day equals 1. Else if, and we'll copy all of this, y in brackets p, and I'm going to break this up a bit so I can see what I'm doing. And so that is 0. So if it's divisible by both, it is not a leap year unless it's also divisible by 400. So it has to be divisible by 400 as well then. Okay. And year modulo 400 equals 0, then leap day is 1. Is that logic correct, GPAW? Does that look right to you? Question from Selfris. Vim? Question mark? Vim. But not Vim, NeoVim. It's the multi-threaded version. Much faster. And I love it, and I wish to God that I could code this entire stream in NeoVim, but unfortunately I have to use Android Studio. And I'm not sure whether that's true. I'm starting to wonder whether if I use C tags, I could get away with doing my editing in NeoVim and then just jump over to Android Studio when I needed to debug things. And I'll probably do some experimentation with that in the next couple of weeks because Android Studio slows its stream down so much. It's painful. All right, GPAW says it looks good. So if leap day equals 1, we need to add that. We need to factor that in. I think we should do it here. So that's the number of days and whether or not we need to add that leap day. But we only add that leap day. Is this right? Do we only add that leap day if we have gone we've gone beyond February the 28th? I think we do, don't we? In which case we need the day of the year. We can do it in the loop though, can't we? Because if I equals 2, yeah. If I equals 2, no. If I equals 1, because we're 0 index full, then we do seconds to add. Plus equals if I equals 1 and leap day, seconds to add plus 86,400. Does that look good? Might be good. I guess we'll run it and see what happens. So we now have an input to this function, 2018-514, and what we want from that is a Unix timestamp. We're not using any date libraries here, we're doing it all in pure heavenly math, so we don't have to bloat our code with other people's idea of how things should be done. Nice and simple, 41 lines of code with spaces. Keep your fingers crossed and let's run. Okay, let's check it out. So the date we are looking for is 2018 5/14. Totally wrong. It's not a problem. We will continue on until we crack it. Where did we get to? We got to May 2nd. We were after the 14th. So we've miscalculated somewhere. We know that the top of year is right. So what did we do wrong? We got the number of days here. Bum, 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 bum. Should be 12 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are. Leap day is 0. If... Is it... The next leap year is 2020, I think John said, right? Yeah, fine. So we're not on a leap year now, and it would be difficult to test that unless we change the year to 2020, which we'll do in a minute. So it wouldn't be difficult to test that, would it? To do test with 2020 so we can see if leap year works. Find the for loop, there we go. So I equals 0. I is less than month minus 1, I plus plus. So it's 5th, so we want to include all the days from January, February, March and April. And that should be fine. Seconds to add, plus equal, month number of days I, times 86,400, don't need that. And let's just check it is 86,400 because I make this mistake a lot. 24 times 60 times 60, 86,400, that's correct. If I equals 1, i.e. February, and leap day, which is 0, then add another 86,400, and then add the number of days. So let's echo out this and see if we screwed up something else. Ah, day plus 86,400 should be times. That might be it. Can I copy this and copy, please? Yes. May 15th, midnight. That's correct, right? No, 14th. We're off by a day somewhere. So many magic numbers. And Cephris, yes, I'm also using Idea Vim for Android Studio. I don't know about you, but if you use it on a Mac, it seems to grind your system to a halt occasionally. Okay, so we're off by a day somewhere. I wonder if we're accidentally triggering leap year. Let's test our leap year logic. Console.log. Leap year. Leap year. Leap day. Leap year 0, so that's not adding anything. So this should never get fired. Okay, that's fine. Why are we off by a day? Why are we off by a day? are we off by a day because of... Alright, so let's just spit everything out. Console.log, top of year, toy, top of year. And then let's do, after this, we can do seconds to add. Ooh, my fingers today. Seconds to, let's do seconds to add for a month. And that would be like seconds to add, wouldn't it? That would be the smart thing to put. And then after we add that, we've got day times. It's day -1, isn't it? Because we're including the day. So really, if we want the top of the day, yeah. But that would take us further away from where we want to be, wouldn't it? Let's have a think. If day 14, no, talking crap. Let's spit all that out and see what happens. Clear. Top of year, let's check that. You never know, things change. January 1st, 12 AM, 2018. Okay. And then leap year is 0. Seconds to add for month. And we'll see how close that gets us. So that should give us the top of the month, right? So let's do another one. Top of month. Seconds to add plus where are we? Top of year. Copy. Let's check that one. Tuesday, May 1st. So that gets us to the top of the month. That's good. And what we're expecting to see is the 14th day. So we do 14 times 86,400. Am I missing something really obvious? 15th, 14th. Got the first. If we're already at the first, then it needs to be day -1, doesn't it? I know that seems like a cop-out, but I feel like that's right. And guys, you'll have to, it's good that I've got a lot of people watching today because you can tell me if I'm being an absolute moron. But is that right? Is it day -1? So if that gets us to, that's going to get us to the 14th, we know that, right? Monday, May 14th, 2018, 12 AM. So that's working nice. Got some questions in the stream, so I will address them. Mac and what looks like a toilet bowl. Although having Ubuntu and Windows 10 on the same HDD is torture for my laptop. Yeah, I can imagine. Gpo seemed to enjoy the fact that I put woi. Hello. Oh, you have desktop or MacBook. This is a Mac Pro that I had banging around and wasn't using, so I thought I'd repurpose it to stream on. I quite like it. It's nice. Zishanu. Hi, how are you? I am great, thank you. The weather is nice in England today, which makes a change. Sephiris, Carl Forshaw, would you say that JS is relatively easy to learn compared to Java? Yes. I'm going to say yes because you don't really have to know about object-oriented principles to use it. You can just jump in and dive in. I know the same is true of Java, but in order to do anything useful in Java, such as Android development, UI development, you'll have to interact with its API, and its API is all object-oriented. I don't like object-oriented programming at all. That is a big no thank you from me, but unfortunately, the software industry likes it very much, and therefore I have to use it, which isn't great. I just joined. Hi, this is from Professor Mirus. It's in pink, so I'm having trouble reading it. I just joined. Hi, first time here. What are you trying to do? I am trying to, without using any date libraries, take a date and turn it into a Unix timestamp. And I'm doing it in JavaScript right now just to get an idea of how the logic should go. The reason I'm doing it from scratch, not using any date libraries, is because I find date libraries difficult to work with, and they assume that you know what the hell the programmer who wrote them was thinking. I don't, and this is a fairly simple use case, and we should be able to do it without adding a library to our code, because I think whenever you can avoid it, you should avoid it. You should avoid adding thousands and thousands of lines of code to your code base if you're only going to use a few of them. What else? It is in the top right corner. What software are you using for streaming? OBS. I haven't really used anything else, and I'm pretty new to streaming. Not liking OO. Angry face. I know. Yeah. There are countless arguments in my office about that. Top of the month is day 1, so not day 0. I am Noz. Yes, seems to be correct. Thank you. Thank you for doing the idiot check on me there. I need it. Sephiris, I didn't like OOP before. Now I've got Stockholm Syndrome. My advice to you actually is just stop doing it and see how it makes you feel. I did that. I stopped doing it and I started writing code the way I learned to write code, which was procedural. Way back when I used to use PHP 4 when it didn't have object-oriented programming in it. And it felt great. And I got so much more done. I was so much more productive. I didn't have to work around boundaries that shouldn't be there because somebody decided that we should abstract everything. Yeah, I don't know. This is not the time for a debate on this, but I'm open to a debate post-stream if anybody wants to debate me on it. Okay, so it looks like we have achieved what we wanted to achieve, right? We've taken a day and turned it into a timestamp. Now, we have a way of detecting whether or not a day of year rule is applicable to our scheduled tasks. But we require a second input to do it. And that means adding this ugly second input field to the prototype table. And it also means passing another parameter all the way through our activity chain. And that seems really ugly and I don't want to do it. And I'm trying to think if there's a better way to do this, maybe storing a comma separated. I don't super love that either. What's better? What's better, Carl? Does it really matter at this scale? I could make input comma separated, turn it into a string, and then just break it apart when I need to use it. Or I could add a second field. Okay, I think this might be the smartest thing to do. So then we've got input days, input months, and start seconds. Days, months, seconds. That might be better. Yeah. Alright, so let's jump over to Android Studio and start dealing with its laggy interface. And first thing we'll need to do is change everything that's input to input days. And we've got like 15 minutes, so I'm not sure if we're going to get this logic here. And let's write that out into the application today, but at least we've got it, and tomorrow we'll be able to handle day of year. Okay. So first things first, I need to add that to the database. So let's jump in here, go to Focus DB, and where is our prototype table? Here it is. Input days. Oh, look how awful this is. Oh, Java. Awful. Lag. This is like the equivalent of playing a game at 60 frames per second and then jumping onto a machine that can only render 5. Awful, awful, awful. Okay, so next port of call would be the prototype activity. And let's search for input in here. Are you keeping up with me, Android Studio? Okay, so input equals 0, input equals 0. Where is input? Where are you coming from? Okay. Right, we'll change that later. So I guess the place where it's written into the database is the goal activity. So let's search for prototype in here, find it, and this needs to be input days. I can't, it's a must on my course, just 3 more months. That's a hard 3 months for you, Zephyrus. Yeah, I know. I had to learn it all too. I still have to use it all regularly. It's unfortunate, but it's sad state of affairs, right? You know, the funny thing is that Moore's law dictates that computing power doubles every year, and I sometimes think that Photoshop's speed of launch halves every year, and that's to me that's a result of people using object-oriented programming. Okay, input days. So we need to be able to handle input months. Where does input come from? Let's do a search in here. Input slug. Yeah. Input days. And then we'll jump over here and do days slug. I'm now in the process of breaking all my code. Next, days, next. Okay, I've got some unused includes here, so I'll just get rid of those and hope that the lag doesn't break things even more than it should. Input days, input days, input days. Right, we don't have input days slug now, so we'll need to jump over to focus lib again. GG. There we go. Input slug fs days underscore slug. This is why it's a good idea to use constants, and we'll keep the same naming convention. Okay, what's missing? What happens? We go from the prototype activity to, we need to pass input days slug, don't we? And that's why it didn't turn up. Input. There it is. Days slug. Okay. Let's change this now to input days. Okay. And does our application still work after that change? Well, we need to nuke the database because that's changed. And also there is a in focus lib. We pull from the prototype table, and their input days now needs to be inputs. But that won't change anything because input is still index 4, but for good measure we will change it. CM word input days. Horrible lag. Change that one. Okay. Hopefully we're not too broken. Oh wow, more questions. Stream's on fire tonight, guys. Professor Ornurius. CMD option A, optimize imports. Ooh. Thank you for that. Does that do it for every... I wonder if that does it for everything. Zephyrus passing me a Vim command. Respect. If you get dialogue. Yeah. Okay, so if I do shift, I wonder if this will cure my lag issue. I doubt it. I doubt it. Shift, so let's do shift command option A. Nada, nothing. Command option A. Command option L. Capital L? Ah, that's not it, is it? So I guess shift command option A. Did that just do it automatically? Not sure. Maybe I broke the universe. I've got an error. Let's have a look at the error. Static is not allowed here because it's a void. Okay. Shift command and A will open the action dialog where you can type any action you want. Shift command A. Ooh. And I'm looking for what? Optimize imports. Oh my god. Less lag. Can you believe that? Still a bit of lag, but oh ho ho. Not bad. Not bad. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Alright, let's see how badly we've broken things by refactoring that. Run. Compilation failed. Why? Logcat. Or does logcat not help us there? No control block. See compiler error output. There. Cannot find input slug. Ah, of course. Input slug is now C in Word. Input days slug. And where else did we find it? That one's okay. Looks like it. Let's try running that again. Built okay. Running. Let's nuke the database. Storage, clear data, bye-bye. So let's run it again. And we'll see if we can add an everyday task to see if we broke anything too horribly. It stopped. We have stopped. Logcat, you are my friend. Tell me your secrets. Create table if not exists, prototype. Because input is in the primary key and we've changed it to input days. Focus DB. Don't you hate it when your elbow slips off the armrest? Doesn't look very smooth, does it? Okay, so this massive compound key also needs to be updated. Input days. Inputs, months. And fingers crossed. That should do it. THMCA, hello again, welcome back to the show. Good to have you back. Are you using desktop or MacBook? I am using a Mac Pro. I think it's a 2015 model. And it should be really, really fast because it's a Xeon. But Java has its way with everything. Greedy, greedy, greedy. Every day at 6 AM for 1 hour, we are going to brush teeth. Have the whitest and cleanest teeth in the land. No goal. Today, does it put it in? I saw something at 6 AM, there it is. 6 AM, there it is. Okay, so we've managed to add in a month's input and not break our existing functionality. Let's just check the 7:30. Adding something manual still works. Hit the gym for 4 hours. Goal, get massive. Look at that. Even the entry is massive. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with that. And there are 2 minutes left on today's stream, which is unfortunate because I was kind of on a roll for a minute there. Tomorrow, we will put this logic in so that we can go to schedule tasks, put a date in when we change this to day of year, and have day of year working. All right, and day of month is fairly easy to do, I think. It's just a bit, the question is around, like, what do you do if the day is over 28? Do you just roll it back to the 28th? And I'm considering having an option in there where you've got like 0 to 31, and then you've got another option that says last day of month. And then if it's over 28 and it's February, for example, it just ignores it. I'm not sure. Not really thought that one through yet, but those last two things we can now implement, I think. So that's what we'll do tomorrow, or we'll do at least one of them. Okay, so let's check our to-do list. Where are we? So this logic we can keep here for a minute. Let's close this buffer and B notes. Where are we? Right, routine that populates. We've done that one, but we need to. We fixed that. Don't forget to handle conflicts. So tomorrow, next time, I did that. That's fine. Next time, handle day of year using the logic we created in Epoch Test.js. Okay, very good, very nice. Let's check things into version control and I will answer questions thereafter. So end of episode 39. Which isn't bad really, is it? To say that I didn't know anything about Android Studio or Java development 39 hours ago. We've managed to get quite a lot of functionality in. So imagine what you could do if you did know what you were doing in 39 hours. You could build a small app in that time. And if you did like 5 or 6 of those, well, say you managed to work 39 hours a month, you'd be turning out, 39 hours a week, you'd be turning out an app or two every week. Sorry, an app or two every month. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, end of episode 39. All we did to the code was change the database format to change the database. Actually, what we did is change the prototype data format to include an input for months to make for more consistent inputs for use with the day of year operation. Okay, commit. And now Android Studio tries to be my mother, tell me that I've got to-dos in my code and warnings, and I tell it, you're not my mom. Stop telling me what to do. Shut the hell up. Okay, question time. Free tip. When you need to rename string literals in a file, you can use Ctrl-G to select multiple instances and get multi-cursor. I did not know that Android Studio supported multi-cursor. That is interesting. Funnily enough, that's the main thing I miss from using Sublime Text and moving to Vim. Cephris, I'll be heading off. I might drop by later. Cheers. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow. And JR Mayfield, would be cool if you had a great marketing guy to bring revenues to those. It would, wouldn't it, mate? Yeah. Someone like you? Okay. Right, guys, that is the end of today's episode. If you joined the stream late and you want to catch up, or you want to see any of the previous 38 episodes, I have a YouTube channel. It's Coding with Carl. And the Zero to Android playlist here contains all of those things, and this one will be uploaded hopefully at some point within the next 4 or 5 hours. Please feel free to subscribe and you'll get daily updates. Likewise, follow me on Twitch or leave me a like if you're feeling generous. I code every weeknight, usually, apart from Friday, at 7:30 PM UK time and 5:30 PM on a Friday, unless there are circumstances dictating otherwise. Yeah, been a great stream today. Thank you everyone for joining me. I've had fun, and I hope you have fun too coding. Don't take anything I say too seriously. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.